Many people get hacked. The statistics that are out there will give you nightmares. It is very important that you stay as safe and secure as possible when it comes to the internet. That is where NordPass, the sponsor of this video, comes in. NordPass is a secure password manager for desktop and mobile devices. What I like about NordPass, other than the peace of mind they give me, is that all of your passwords are stored in one place so you don't need to memorize them. They have an autofill feature which saves you time. It doesn't matter if you're on your phone or your computer, NordPass syncs your credentials across up to 6 of your devices. A feature I love is that they can generate secure passwords for you, because the more complex the password, the safer your accounts are. This is very useful because a lot of people use unsafe passwords. 29% of women and 25% of men use family names, dates, and numbers when it comes to their passwords. NordPass is a zero-knowledge password manager. This means that no one can see what's in your encrypted vault, not even the NordPass team, just you. I really believe NordPass is an essential cybersecurity tool that will make your life easier and safer. Right now, you can get an exclusive NordPass deal plus 1 additional month for free at https://nordpass.com/criminalcore or use code criminalcore at the checkout. The link will be the first thing you see in the description. On December 8, 1993, a homeowner in Choctaw County, Oklahoma, discovered human remains in her backyard, so she called 911. Deputies with the Choctaw County Sheriff's Office responded to the home. They contacted Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation and requested assistance in the investigation. An autopsy performed by doctors in the Oklahoma Chief Medical Examiner's Office determined that the remains belonged to a male baby. It was also determined that the baby had been born alive. The medical examiner ruled that the baby boy's throat had been slashed. Investigators conducted numerous interviews after the discovery of the baby's body, but the case went cold. Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation agents obtained and stored DNA evidence from the scene for possible future use. In 2020, law enforcement took another look at the case, trying to finally identify the boy. They submitted the DNA evidence they had collected to Parabon Nanolabs. As many of you will know by now, Parabon specializes in providing phenotyping services to law enforcement agencies. The results from Parabon Nanolabs came back in April of 2021. After reviewing the results, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation team began pursuing new leads. That led them to 53-year-old Mayonia Michelle Allen. On Wednesday, June 15, 2022, an Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation agent met with Allen at the Durant Police Department in Oklahoma. During the interview, Allen agreed to submit samples of her DNA to be tested to determine if she was the biological mother of the baby doe. Shortly after providing the DNA sample, Allen admitted that she was in fact the biological mother. During a follow-up interview a few days later, Allen confessed to cutting the baby's throat shortly after his birth. At the time, Allen worked at a daycare center. According to investigators, she said that she did not tell anyone about her pregnancy or delivery. She also told no one what she did to the baby. Allen was booked into the Choctaw County Detention Center and is being held without bond. It has not been made public yet why she did what she did or who the father is. Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation Director Ricky Adams said in a statement, "The synergy between our agents and criminalists to solve cold cases, especially those with an unidentified victim, is to be applauded. Identifying the use of genetic genealogy as a tool and the work of Parabon and our internal genealogy specialists provided significant leads in this disturbing case. Baby doe can now be properly laid to rest, and Allen will be held accountable." 22-year-old Rasheed Young lived in Pottstown, Pennsylvania in 2019. Pottstown is about 40 miles northwest of Philadelphia. He shared the home he lived in with his boyfriend, Keyshawn Sheffield. Keyshawn was 17 years old at the time. Rasheed vanished on August 19, 2019. Shortly thereafter, his family and friends received text messages from his phone cutting ties with them. Just over a month later, unidentified and decomposing remains belonging to a male were discovered by a landscaper at the Aubrey Arboretum in the Philadelphia neighborhood of Germantown. At the time, a post-mortem examination was unable to identify the victim. Keyshawn reported Rasheed missing in December of 2019, 2 months after he had been last seen. The link between the body found and Rasheed's disappearance was unfortunately not made initially. For more than 2 years, the body remained unidentified. Montgomery County investigators recently increased their efforts in finding Rasheed. His family also hired a private investigator to look into his disappearance. The investigation found through the use of a confidential informant, cell phone records, and other investigative means that Rasheed had been dating Keyshawn for 2 years by the time he disappeared. Investigators had not known about Keyshawn before this. Investigators then went to interview Keyshawn Sheffield. He just told them he was no longer in contact with Rasheed after a fight they had. Investigators believed he wasn't telling them everything he knew, so they continued investigating. A witness finally came forward saying that he helped Sheffield dig a hole at the Aubrey Arboretum for Rasheed's body. Investigators had to make sure there's truth to his story. They were able to confirm that the unknown man who was buried in the Arboretum was in fact Rasheed. Now they had to see if Sheffield really was responsible. They found that Sheffield made numerous withdrawals from Rasheed's $2 million trust fund. He was also driving Rasheed's car. Investigators also found that the messages to Rasheed's family and friends cutting ties actually came from Sheffield. Even more damning, investigators discovered that Sheffield flooded Rasheed's house to get rid of possible evidence. On June 1st, 2022, Keyshawn Sheffield was arrested at his home in Philadelphia in connection to the case. Sheffield is in custody at the Montgomery County Detention Facility. He's being held without bail. Investigators gave a summary of what took place in their press conference. According to them, Sheffield fatally stabbed Rasheed at his home on August 19, 2019. He then later intentionally flooded the home to destroy evidence. Sheffield stuffed Rasheed's remains into a recycling container. He transported the container to his mother's house. Sheffield then contacted the witness and the two of them buried Rasheed at the Arboretum. He then accessed Rasheed's social media accounts to give the appearance that Rasheed was still alive from August to December of 2019. Investigators have not released a motive, but described the crime as domestic violence related. Sheffield has been charged with taking Rasheed's life, theft by unlawful taking, receiving stolen property, possessing an instrument of crime, and access device fraud.